Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the next part of my Halloween Occult Mansion speed build. My name is Equality, and today we are going to be doing the outside of the house, like the landscaping and some pathing. And I was actually thinking if I should be skipping this part, but I thought because landscaping is also something that maybe a couple people struggle with, and also pathing is something that um I don't know, I feel like is something that could be quite hard to do if you're not quite sure what you're doing. So the first thing I did right here was I went back to the smaller greenhouse, and I was thinking about the windows and the door that I wanted to use, and I found these really nice ones from Realm of Magic, and I never used the Realm of Magic stuff. And so it is very funny to me that the things that I'm using are actually fitting very well for a greenhouse. Yeah, that was fun. And then I changed the wallpaper of the little greenhouse as well, and I went ahead and I changed the the roof texture as well of the greenhouse and the normal house. And then I went and I saw that there were some things missing with the roofs that I didn't see before, so I went ahead and fixed those too. And then I went back to this little tower thing, and I was thinking, or like wondering how I could manage with the door there, because in theory I don't think they can go there, like go from the door to the garden, because there's a step missing. And the only the only real way that I could add a staircase there would be to add a thing to the front, and I didn't really want to do that, but I couldn't really get around it, so I was trying to fiddle around there a little bit. And then I noticed that I changed something at the bigger greenhouse, and there's this rectangle, so it had more space for the windows somehow, so I changed the windows a bit, used the Realm of Magic ones there as well. Then I looked around, and like I said, I fixed the roofing texture. There was something missing there. And then I was actually ready to think of how I want the garden to be laid out. So from the picture that I generated for this challenge, I had a little bit of a vision there. I can maybe put the picture here again if I don't forget. And as you can see, it has like very small paths, and but they go like in very different directions, making a bunch of smaller little areas that I really liked. I didn't want to copy it 100%, but I wanted to kind of orientate myself on that. So I tried to do something similar. You will see in a second. But first, like I said, I was struggling with this door. I didn't know what to do, so I tried to put an archway there and a stair, but that doesn't work either. I was trying to see if I could maybe cheat it by deleting the wall and then placing the stair, but that also didn't really work. Struggling. And I also realized that the doors are the other way around. This is something that you all should be making sure of when you're placing doors like this, that they are rotated the right way, because obviously with doors like this we want the big handles to be outside and not inside, because it looks a little bit weird if the like that's part of the aesthetic, right? But yeah, so the only way I could have put stairs there would have been by putting another foundation, or by putting like a platform, but platforms are weird too. Or by just putting the stairs and have the stairs have like a little this thing, like a little overhang. I think I decided for the overhang in the end, because I just thought that it made the most sense, because I like I said, I didn't want to put a foundation, because I felt like it would be too much, because then I would have had to add another roof as well. So that was a big struggle that I had. But I just left it like that in the end, because I thought there's nothing better that I could do, so I went with that. And yeah, something that happened the other day, even for me as a German, was it was very weird. The whole election thing. I was surprised. I was surprised, really. I think, I think Kamala Harris is a yeah. I don't know, but not talking about this because it's getting too political. But let's just say I was confused. Anyways, um, with those stairs like that, I was also very confused about how to do the pathing because, like I said, the path is very narrow. I would say for the for most of the outlay layout. um, so I was a little bit confused about how to do that there because the stairs is too wide, but I wanted to be one wide for the path. So I left that there for a second, came back to the main exit or back. It's not an exit, is it? Way to the garden, I guess. And I just did that for now. And I, like I said, tried to go off of the picture as much as I could. And but what one thing that I did do is because I wanted to have a pool for my mermaid. So I was kind of thinking, how could I incorporate another, like a bigger pool area for her, which I did do in the end, and I think it turned out really cool. Like we have this small area there, which became a fountain area. Also could have been a pool, but I felt like two pools doesn't make sense, and if anything, I would rather have a bigger pool for the mermaid. So I did that there. This is the pool for the mermaid, and then in between we have a smaller little garden piece again where plants come. And I really like that. And then the path goes all the way around the pool, and then right next to the pool we have this little greenhouse. Technically, I think maybe I could have even put the greenhouse back a little bit more and made the pool a bit thicker, but I think this way is also fine. Um, yeah, and then I went back to this path that I had problems with, and I just thought, okay, if it connects like this, it's probably fine. So it just comes down from the landing. Is that what it's called? It comes down from the stairs to the landing, and then it like you have to go to the side and then forward. Yeah. And then I was thinking how I can do the outline of the path because on the picture there's like it looks like it's a very very small bush that is on the side of the path that kind of is like a little fence. We obviously don't have something like this in the Sims, so I was thinking, okay, maybe I can use this thing again, because I use this a lot for when I do outlines for like little plant box areas. Because it's not very big, and it just makes sense, It just makes sense. But I didn't like how it looked next to the greenhouse because it would have to connect to the greenhouse, and I didn't want that. So I had to think of something else there, which now that I think of it, I could have probably done for the whole area. Um, but I didn't. I only did it there. And you will see what I mean in a second because it actually works and it's really cool and I really like that idea. So here I was just testing a bunch of fountain things because I was so surprised that there's actually so many fountain decorations. So to the thing, the grass thing, the little bush, I checked through the bushes and I know that we have like hedges, right? So I was thinking, what if I just size those hedges down? And also with those normal plants, because what I see in this picture is like more like little trees in planter boxes, and we don't really have that. Like, sure, I could kind of create them myself with planter boxes and then put like the bushes, but I didn't want to do that. Like, I felt like that was too much effort, so I was trying to find as many plants that made sense as possible. And then there were some that I liked, but they were too big, so I sized them down. Usually, before when you sized things down. Like I don't know if this is with everything now, but plants definitely were like that. If you size them down, then the hitbox of the object was still the same size. Even when you sized it down, it was still the same size, like as if it were big. And obviously, then you cannot place it in certain places, and also your Sims won't be able to pass through, even if I were to place it with move objects. But now, actually, when you size those things down, those plants even, they their size also changes, their tile size, their hitbox changes, which is really cool. I don't know since when that is a thing, but this is really really helpful because I don't have to do like unnecessary clipping. I don't have to do, yeah, I can work with the things that I have, you know. I don't have to use the things from the debug menu, so that there will be no conflict. So that is very nice. And then I just went ahead and I placed a couple planter boxes, like I said, in different ways. So like just so that it made sense. Um, yeah. What else can I talk about while we build here? I don't even know because this is coming out so quickly. This is the third part, and this another these episodes are so long. Like this episode took me over an hour again, and I only did the outside. I only did the landscaping, which is insane. And I thought I can record this in a couple parts and then it's gonna be done, but this is gonna take so long. I already continued recording, and then like the next 1.5 hours, um, that's how long it took me to just do the tower, the kitchen, and the two bathrooms. I didn't do any. Okay, actually, I think I did the dining room as well, but it took so long to do, and I didn't even get to a lot of rooms yet. So sorry. There is no, God. I hope the recording was running. I accidentally pressed on spacebar. Anyways, um yeah, so there is definitely at least two more parts coming, maybe even three. Because there's also this whole greenhouse that I need to do. Oh my god, this is gonna take so long. This is probably gonna be 6 parts long, 6 part long Halloween special. I thought it was gonna be three again, like the last time, but this is insane. Yeah, this is crazy. So yeah, like I said before, I just placed some random like potted plants, and then I went ahead and I put some bushes, mainly these rose bushes because I just felt like for some reason roses is something that vampires really adore, I guess. I just felt like it was right. And one thing that is also like a little tip from my side, when you are doing like these little garden plant areas, like the one that you can see here, one thing that I always like to do is use this little bush shrub kind of thing, size it down, and then like place it all around, because in technicality, even if you have a very clean garden and is like mowed and everything, it will not look super perfect. And especially in areas where you have a bunch of plants like this, you will not just have the plants, you will also have like grass and stuff. And yes, the ground tile is obviously a grass texture, but it is a very flat grass texture and it doesn't look very realistic. So you kind of need to help out there a little bit. Either you can use these very thick but like low bush parts. I don't even know what they're called in game, but you have those in different textures. There's like this one that I use there that has no leaves or no petals in it, but there's also some that have petals inside in different colors. And then here we actually now coming to the pot that I talked about before, where I used this hedge and I sized it all the way down. This is the lowest you can go, and I use that to place it on the side as kind of like a lining. and I think it's so cool. And I'm definitely gonna remember this because this is genius. I think if this actually works and it doesn't cause any issues for them to walk, then this is amazing. Because I think this looks really good and it makes a lot of sense. And then we're already at the pathing part of this. So in the front for the front door, I just did a little like a normal path, and then I was thinking, okay, this pathway that I did in the backyard, I'm gonna go all the way around to the other exit of the greenhouse. It's very narrow there. There's not a lot of space there, but it's okay. And then we also need a pathway that goes from the backyard to the front, and then we also need another way from the front to the other side door or the other way around. And as you can see here, what I'm doing is I just try to freehand it, and I try to like put a little curve inside just to make it seem a little bit more organic, I would say. And then one little tip for the pathing here: when the path hits the big front area that you can see in front of this house, like it looks like a to park cars, I guess. Once it hits that, you want it to like spread out a bit so that it looks like it kind of goes in and like moves toward like inwards to the path. Um, yeah, just that way it just looks a little bit more realistic instead of it just being one line that goes into there. Technically, if my backyard would be bigger, I would probably also do that there, but it was not really necessary, so I just kept it the way it is here, as you can see. And on the other side of the house, I also did the exact same thing. Like you just put a little curvature in, try to make it look not too crazy, but also not too boring. Like super straight lines usually doesn't look very good with paths like this. Obviously, your Sims are probably not gonna walk on them anyways because they just do what they want. They just walk the fastest route that they can find. But still, um, still for the realism, right? And then next to the small um, greenhouse, I put a couple more of the rose bushes that I placed before, um, just because I felt like it made sense. Like behind this, between the house and the little greenhouse, there's like this very big um, plant area. I'm not really sure how to call them. Like in German, they're called Beet, Blumenbeet, and in English it would probably be like how do you call those? What do you call areas that are specifically for flowers? Let me know. Let me know in the comments because I cannot think of the word right now. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of the word. Anyways, I did that, and then I decided because there was something missing there to to divide the path from that flower pot plant area. So one thing that I always do when that happens is I use these stones, and this is definitely something that I copied from other simmers and from other just builds that I found on the gallery where I saw this. This is really handy for that because it just makes a lot of sense there. And then just one thing that I always suggest to do is go ahead and take a darker, like a mud color from the floor paint, and just put a couple sprinkles under every plant that you can find, and also like on the side of the house a little bit. Um, it just makes sense. Like it makes it look like the house has been there for a while and not just built right now. And that is, I think, makes a lot of sense for a mansion like this that is supposed to inherit a bunch of monsters and weirdos for I don't know how many years. So yeah, that's that's definitely something that I would suggest to do. I didn't put some under the stones. I should have done that as well. Huh. When I come back, I can do that. But yeah, that's that. And then the path goes all like the one that goes to the back exit of the greenhouse. I also extended that to the other side of the house where the other exit is, and I also have a staircase there. What I actually thought was to copy the the garden exit for the side exit as well, because there's a bunch of space on that side. I'm probably gonna put some trees there as well, and you can see when you're doing the path, the, it's very hard because like you need to try and hold your hand as still as possible, even though you want a curvy path, but your hand still needs to kind of be not wiggling around too much, because or else then it looks a little weird. A little bit is fine because like here, when some parts of the path are a little bit thicker than others, that also is fine. That also makes sense, but it shouldn't be like a lot of squiggling. It should be clean curves that makes sense. Yeah, I don't even know how else to describe that. It's kind of hard. But yeah, as you can see, also on the end where it meets the parking lot, there's also it also does this. But yeah, this is it for this video. This was the landscaping and the pathing, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Like I said, there's gonna be at least 2 more parts coming of this. We are finally done with the outside now. We have the roofs, we have the walls, we have the outside, we have the plants and everything. And now we can finally go inside and furnish the house. I am so excited for this. You cannot believe it. I am so excited for this. But anyways, stay tuned if you want to see how the inside turn out. And as always, I hope you stay kind, stay balanced, and keep gaming. And we'll see each other in the next video. Bye, everyone.